Well, hi, friends. Welcome to Tuesday night. You didn't know if it was happening tonight, did you? I wondered myself. I'm sort of kidding, but not really. Usually I post and tell you what we're going to talk about and all that jazz. And I didn't today, did I? No. But look, we're still here. So I am glad that you are here, that you're joining us tonight. You have fallen into a little thing we call Online Steps to Success, where our goal is to help you dream bigger dreams, work smarter, and make more money in your business and in life. So my name is Allison Dalkey. I'm very, very glad that you're here. I'd love to know where you're from. We are broadcasting live on Facebook Live tonight and on YouTube Live, which is super fun. So you can check us out in either place, and both are being recorded. So there you have it. No. Hey, there's pajamas for them that are probably better than those in their bag.
In the gray one?
That black and white bag. Oh, then it's in a gray bag in the back of my car. Or there's...
Fine.
Okay. That's fine. Oh, she needs an overnight pull-up. Yeah. It's just live. We're live, and this is live. I'm broadcasting live from just north of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and I'm so glad that you're joining us tonight. Hi, Carol. So, several things to chat about tonight. One of the big things we're going to talk about is something that has really just been on my heart that I cannot help but share with you. And so you sort of never know what you're going to get when you get me a little unscripted and kind of straight from the heart. So that's what tonight is going to be. I think it's something that I am learning about myself and growing in. And so I just naturally can't help but teach that back. Oh. Okay, well, there is one in the back of my car in that gray bag. It's the other big bag. Go out the sunroom door. That's the best way. We're renovating our house. So if you're tuning in and, well, you can't really tell. My office is actually a mess. I just pulled into my house. I've been out of town at my mom's while they tore up tile. Walked into Dust City, USA. And I just was so late that I had nothing to do but walk in here. She's coming. She's looking for an overnight pull-up. Just had to ignore it and walk in here and talk to you, which I'm very happy about right now. But there's extra furniture in my office. There's all sorts of mess. I will tell you, those of you that like renovate on a regular basis or like have ever renovated, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, Lord. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Renovation is not fun. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be super beautiful. I know it will be. We're doing our kitchen floors, and we're doing my bathroom. So, good Lord Almighty. It is a hot mess, though. It's a mess. It's okay. I don't do well in transition, and so this is a growing process for me, and it'll be okay. But let's get started. How about that? You guys didn't come here to hear about my renovation. You came here to learn something. So let's hopefully I can learn something. But before we get started, while you're telling me where you're from. Well, hi, Ridgewood, Tennessee. June from Ridgewood, Tennessee. This is how tired I am. NJ is not Tennessee. NJ is New Jersey. No, it's not. Y'all, what on earth? Yeah, it is. Must be. Let's just see how big of a fool I can make of myself today. Let's just see. Let's see. Let me just go with something I know for sure. We have Girl Growing Green watching from Indiana. Casey is from Wilson, Oklahoma. I really don't know where Wilson is. I'll have to look that up. Hi, Steph. Hi, Kate. It's so good to see your smiling picture there. Not your face, but it is your face, but you know what I mean. By Ardmore. Okay, I know where that is. Got it. Maureen from El Paso, so glad that you're here. League City, Texas. Also, Facebook tells me that my videos are highly popular in Texas. Brian from Edmond, Oklahoma. By the way, upstairs, being a boss husband, bathing 3 of our 4 children who just got done with a car ride with mom, and they're swimming, so he's being a boss up there. This is definitely a team effort and a team show because I couldn't happen without him, so. So glad y'all are here tonight. All right, really quickly. I have a couple announcements to make. First of all, we are getting ready and geared up for Cincy Family Reunion happening next week in Anaheim, California. It is our first reunion that is global, and I'm super, super excited about it. And guess what we're doing? So a couple things. We are actually going to do an online Steps to Success meet and greet on Wednesday. That's right. Wednesday, July 18th. I'm looking at my calendar. At 1 o'clock. So it's only going to be 45 minutes, a sort of come and go kind of thing. It'll be super fun for you to pop in and maybe meet some of the people who watch Online Steps to Success every Tuesday with you. And we will be there, of course. So that'll be on Wednesday, the 18th, 1 o'clock. So between 1 and 1:45, you can stop by. We will be in room 212A at the convention center. I have no idea where that is, what that means. So we've been assigned. We'll be in room 212A. We will also be doing a live Online Steps to Success from Anaheim. Now, if you don't get to go to Anaheim, don't worry. We'll send you so much love. And we are going to do a live broadcast on Wednesday. It will not be at our normally scheduled time. We're actually working out details of when we're going to broadcast it live. It's probably going to be Wednesday during the day because our general session starts at 6 and we have a party until 10. So my Lord, we can't miss out on that. So we will be shooting a live Online Steps to Success. And it'll happen on Wednesday, and we will announce it here so you will know when we're going live. Good to know that I'm louder on YouTube. That's interesting. It's probably because I'm mic'd on YouTube, and I'm not mic'd on whatever that is, Facebook Live. So, super fun. If you're coming, we would love to see you if you're in town in time. Again, just a meet and greet. For Online Steps to Success, we'd love to meet all of you. And love for you to meet each other. 1 to 1:45 on Wednesday, room 212A. I promise I will be posting that information here as well on the Online Steps to Success page on Facebook, so you can see that as well. So you don't have to memorize it or write it down right now. But you know that I want you to get something to write down because the teacher in me wants you to take notes because I have got something to tell you about tonight that I think is going to make a difference in your business and probably maybe your life as well. Maybe your life first. I'm not really sure. So one more time, Amber, this is for you. Live Online Steps to Success meet and greet happening, not a live. I need to stop saying that. Just Online Steps to Success meet and greet. 1 o'clock in Anaheim at Cincy Family Reunion, room 212A in the Convention Center. It'll be super fun. Okay, let's get started. We have things to do. Diana, it's a surprise. Okay. I'm going to swipe you all away because tonight's one of those heart-ish nights. I do have notes, but not like normal. And I really just need to tell you what I'm kind of learning through and going through. If you search Allison Dalkey on YouTube, whoever asked about where the YouTube is, you'll be able to find it. So apparently the sound is better on YouTube, just so you know. All right. No, I didn't swipe you away. I'm swiping you away just for a minute because I need to get started and otherwise I'll get distracted and we'll just chat all night, which chatting is fun, but not that productive. Okay. So again, my name is Allison Dalkey. I'm so glad you're here. This is Online Steps to Success. It happens every Tuesday night, except for next week, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central. And our goal really is to help your business make more money, to help you dream bigger dreams, and to help your business be a true blessing to your family and your life and not a burden. So tonight we are going to talk about, this is just something I've been working on personally and going through. And so I hope that it translates to you. I don't know, it may or may not be interesting how I come up with content, but it's sort of just this process, like a heart process every week for me of what I'm learning and where I'm growing and where I'm challenging myself. And that's usually the direction that I push you in as well. This week, I couldn't really nail down like list or a super practical thing that I wanted to share with you, but I couldn't get the word shift out of my mind. And I know that the word shift sounds like something else, so we're going to need to be careful with our F's and T's, I guess. With my F, I need to make sure that I say the F. So tonight we're going to be talking about shifting and making a small shift in your business that I believe can create mega change long term. I think one of the problems that we have as business owners, as wives, as moms, as entrepreneurs, as dreamers and goal setters is that sometimes we get in our heads and we start to set these goals and work towards things. And then what happens is everything becomes overwhelming. And oftentimes, most times, the thing that goes first or that quits first, right, that we stop doing first are the things that are not necessary and or the things that we feel the least equipped to do. So what I want to do tonight is kind of help you get a little closer to what you're working towards personally in your life by helping you make a small shift. So not a huge, giant, we're going to change everything and completely redo our whole business kind of thing, but really make one small change in our life, in our business, to create momentum and change that becomes bigger momentum in the future. So last week we talked about our 6-month business plan, and I hope that you got a chance to do that. I got so many messages from so many of you saying, yes, I loved that. It was super insightful for me just to look at the bigger picture of my business. If you missed that training, you can go back and watch it. But we really sat down and worked on why is a 6-month business plan beneficial? How do I utilize one? And what does that look like in my Scentsy business? And my goal as you make your 6-month business plan is that you take your life first, everything that's happening in your life, seasons and birthdays and sports and aging parents and all of the responsibilities that you have. And we work our business around those in a way that's practical and that makes a lot of sense and that equips you to better fulfill that actual plan long term because you've already taken into account your life. So that's what we did last week.
If you think about what you're talking about, so you know,
Yeah. It's either in that black and white bag I handed you when I walked in the door, and there's a big gray and white bag in the back of my car.
Okay.
It's in one of those bags.
Okay.
Oh, I also told Wyatt we could buy The Incredibles. Okay, great. Family and life. He knew I was going to figure out what to say. So we were talking about our 6-month plan. So with that 6-month plan, the goal of that is not for you to make a huge major change immediately and to shift everything. The goal of that more is for you to see a big picture and then to start to work towards that picture. A lot of times though, the picture that we set for what we want in our business and what actually happens, there's a huge gap. And what we want to do is try to close that gap. And one of the ways that we close that gap from where we want to be, from where we are to where we want to be, is by making these small shifts. And sometimes the shifts start in our personal lives and they start with things that we need to take care of personally, things that we need to let go of, unforgiveness that we need to lay down, things that can be very, very personal. Sometimes it starts there, that we have to shift some things in our mindset and our thinking and our hearts before we can really grow in our business. And I know this sounds like completely that doesn't even make sense. But I promise you that sometimes what's holding you back from where you want to be is something you're not dealing with internally, something that you're not laying down, something that you're not growing into. And it might be something that you can't even see. Sometimes we are so blind to the things that we're holding grudges against or the things that we haven't moved on from, things in our past or things that we've walked through or dealt with. Oh, I'm gonna have to sneeze. Hold on. All right, I lived. There's nothing like live video. So big survey that said bless you. There might be one more. I think it's the sun coming in my window. Lame. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. No, we're good. Okay. So what I was saying is so many times to close that gap from where we are to where we want to be, we have to deal with stuff internally. And what I want to talk about tonight, this shift, is part of that. It's kind of dealing with us on a more personal level so that we can get to our business and be more productive. Also, this is pull hair. You are welcome. It is crazy. I should have warned you about that. Everybody is saying they can hear me better on YouTube. So if you're having trouble hearing, you may switch over to YouTube. If you go to youtube.com and search my name, Allison Dalkey, somebody will spell it for you on Facebook, please. Then your hearing problem will probably be fixed. So, here we go. I want to talk about what it means to shift, and I have a couple things I really, really want to dive into with you tonight, and a few things I want you to kind of write down and sort of brainstorm through. And here's the thing. This is the crap you don't want to hear. It's the crap I don't want to hear. But I'll just be very, very honest with you. Right now, I think I shared some of my really big goals with you guys at the beginning of the year. I wanted all my leaders paid a title, all these things. Well, last week we did a special Online Steps to Success for people who have lost their director title, because I went from having like 160 or 80, 100, something like that, directors and above in my organization to 120 over the past few months. And that happens, and it's a normal thing. But I thought, man, if this is my goal this year and I'm really working on getting all my leaders paid a title and really getting them engaged and really equipping them, then if I can do that, then surely that's not going to happen. And what I realized in my frustration in that happening was that I had set these big goals and I had made this proclamation of that's where I'm going and that's what I want to do. But there were things that I wasn't willing to change about me, about my routine, about the way that I work, just things that I needed to deal with that were preventing me from closing that gap. And so that's really where tonight comes from, is this, it's a very small shift in the way that we think and the action that we take. And I think what's really important to understand is you can watch every week and you can take all the notes that you want, but if you're not taking the steps and actually doing what is required to run a business well, you're not going to get there. You're not going to close the gap. You're not going to get any closer to where you need to be, right? So this shift is really meant to push you into action because it's small, because it's manageable. So it's different than a pivot. So did you take jazz? Come on, all my dancers. When you learn how to pivot, a pivot is when you take your foot and you do a complete flip to the other side. So I'm looking at this wall and all of a sudden I pivot and I'm looking at the other wall. It's a complete turnaround. So it's me being one way and facing one direction and I pivot to face another. It's sharp, it's intentional, it's big. That's not what I want us to do. I'm not asking for the huge dramatic change and this is why. I'm not saying the huge dramatic change isn't necessary sometimes. It is. But I want us to focus on a small shift over time to create bigger momentum long term. Because what happens when we do the complete flip, the 90 turn, sometimes is it has to be so dramatic, it has to be so drastic that everything else falls away, or that we forget what we're actually working towards or what's actually important. So it isn't a dramatic turn. It's a very small shift. And I think when we focus on the small, it becomes more manageable. So let's talk about what that looks like. So first of all, because I'm an English teacher, we should know the definition of shift. Shift. I'm afraid that I'm going to say it wrong. It's got an F in it. Shift. The definition of shift is to move or cause to move from one place to another, especially over a small distance. So it's a very small shift in the direction that you're going, in the action that you're taking, in the way that you think, and the way that you speak to yourself. It's a very small shift. Okay? So it's a small change. So a couple things that I want us to do. I'm going to give you an example, first of all. So I will tell you right now for me, this summer I've hit a huge roadblock because I haven't had as much childcare as we've had in the past in the summertime. And I have this desire to work and this desire to be a great mom and a great wife. And then when things don't go my way, I get pissed off. I get angry and I get mad. And then I suck at all of the things. I suck at being a business owner, and I suck at being a mom, and I suck at being a wife. And that may sound dramatic, but in an essence, it's true. I want to be the very best version of me in all three of those major roles in my life. And when things aren't in their place and priority isn't given, and I'm not the best version of me, those things don't play out well. Me being a mom doesn't play out great. Me being a wife doesn't play out great. Me being a business owner does not play out great, at least not to what it could be. So we talk a lot on Online Steps to Success about dreaming big dreams and working towards the next thing. And I kind of want to clarify this. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I don't want you constantly in a state of discontentment. That's not at all what our vision of dreaming big is. Our vision of dreaming big is living lives that are not average, living lives that are not mediocre. And it's because we believe very deeply that we are all called to do something great. That each of us, I believe, that you and the person sitting next to you and the person sitting next to them and every single one of you have something on this earth to do that only you can do. And when we sit in our comfort and we sit in average and we sit in mediocrity, we typically fail to do those things that our heart desires, those things, those dreams, those things that we have for our life. It's not about making more money. It's not about selling more product. It's not about having a bigger business. It's more about actually stepping into the things that I believe God's placed in your heart that you kind of have to do. It's like the things that you like desperately want to do, but you're so freaking scared to do. That's what I want us to walk into. And that's what I believe you can walk into with a business like this. Because with a business like this, when you're doing it successfully, when you're running it well, there comes an incredible amount of freedom. Freedom of finances, freedom of time, freedom of resources. And with that freedom, I can choose to walk in and walk towards whatever my heart desires. And that's what I want for you. It is not about not being content. It is about actually walking into the scary truth of what you're called to do. And that is why I'm so crazy in love with direct sales. I believe that, first of all, the personal change that comes about through direct sales, that has to come. It has to come. You absolutely have to change who you were in the beginning to who you will become. Not because who you were wasn't good enough. Who you were is everything. But we're a constantly changing and evolving creature as a human being. And we want that change to be a positive one. We want that change to be towards growth, not towards average, not towards mediocre, not towards settling. So when I talk about you dreaming big dreams and following your heart's desires, what I'm talking about is stepping into the thing that you know you're supposed to do, that you're scared to death to do. And that's me preaching to my own soul too. And so I want you to know, like, you're not alone in that. And some of you would say, I don't really know what that is. And that's okay. As long as you continue down this journey of growing and changing as your business grows and changes, I think that things will be revealed to you as you become the best version of yourselves. And I think that's what this is really about, is becoming the best version of yourself, because the best version of yourself is the best wife you can be, the best mom you can be, the best business owner you can be, the best leader you can be. And that's what we want to step into and walk towards. So, a few things. What I really want you to think about and spend some time brainstorming is, you have this gap of where my business is and versus where I want it to go. And what we want to do, like I said earlier, is close that gap. And we close that gap by identifying what it is, what patterns of behavior do we have that are holding us back from achieving what we want. So when you think about, okay, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say for you to get to the next level in your business, you really need to up your PRV game. Maybe you need to go from an average of, say you're averaging 500 PRV a month, and I really want to strive for and hit the 2000 PRV month. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to work towards. That's where I want to go. But I'm not there yet. I'm sitting at 500 average PRV every month. There's a gap. And so what we have to do to create a shift towards positive change is identify what pattern of behavior do you have that is holding you back from actually making the change that is necessary to increase your customer base, to increase your visibility, to increase your whatever, right? To get to that $2,000 a month, to increase the number of parties you're having, whatever that looks like. So we want to close the gap by identifying those behavior patterns. So often, what happens when we're trying to make positive change is we fall into the pattern of belief that we have believed about ourselves. So your brain will automatically default to the easiest thing for you to do. So if you say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a shift in my business. I'm going to make a shift in my daily activities or my shift in my weekly activities to get to that next place where I want to be more consistently hitting 2,000 PRV. What your brain's going to do is you're going to say that and you're going to believe it and you're going to work on it. And then then your brain's going to tell you, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can sell 500 PRV every month. You could do that because you do that, but you can't. You're not going to be able to do one more thing. You're not going to be able to make a couple more calls. You're not going to be able to book any more parties. You're not. That's what your brain's going to do because it is the pattern of what has been true in your behavior. It's the pattern of what has been true in the beliefs you have in your mind. And so you will always default to the most recent pattern. But you know what's great about a pattern? You can change it. You can absolutely change the pattern happening in your behavior. You can change the pattern happening in the way you speak to yourself and the things you believe about who you are. And so what our goal with this shift is, how do we identify those negative patterns and make a change towards something greater? So I'm going to tell you, this is ridiculous. You can laugh at me. My biggest issue right now with everything, my parenting, my ability to respect and love my husband the way that I should, my ability to be a great leader, all of it, the biggest weak pattern in my life is the time I go to bed and the time I wake up. 100%. I know it's summer and I have grace for myself, but look, I also want something desperately different in my business. And I can't get it by continuing in a pattern of the same self-destruction.
Your biggest weakness.
You are my biggest weakness.
You just said it was bedtime.
Well, that's part of the problem.
Oh. It's a charger for me.
I thought you had slippers on.
No, that'd be awesome, though.
Never seen you in slippers.
What's up, guys? This is the most I've seen my wife in 2 days.
Mm.
Hey. Almost. I mean, I don't know what that's.
Okay, you're a rock star. Oh, hey, there other stuff?
Oh, yeah, where is it?
Hold on. There's the black and white medicine bag that I always take.
Oh, I saw it.
That's where it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What I was saying is my biggest weakness is absolutely the discipline that I have right now around when I go to bed and when I wake up. And I know it. So this is how I discovered this. Obviously, it should be easy to discover. Hey, you're staying up too late and getting up too late. Duh. But I think I have a beard hair on my lip. There ain't nothing sexy about that. No, it's not a beard hair, but it was something. I am a natural introvert, meaning that I get my energy from being alone. I realized that me trying to run my business in the nooks and crannies of the day, me trying to be present with my kids, be a loving and supportive and, compassionate spouse, all of that, when there's people around me all day long, I realized this is not going to work unless you find some alone time. It's just not going to work. And Brian and I made a commitment to ourselves a while ago. when I got to this phase in my business where I was working at night all the time. And so kids would go to bed, I would go to the office and work, and it wasn't good for our marriage at all. And if that's a place that you're in, when we talk about this business being a blessing to your family, if that's where you're at and your spouse resents it, that's probably part of the problem. But everybody does that, or not everybody, but it's easy to get into that pattern. Thank you, lighting director.
You're welcome.
The sun sets and then I need light. So we made a commitment a long time ago that we would have our scheduled. I do Zoom chats with my team sometime at night, and we do this every Tuesday night, right? But other than that, when the kids go to bed, I don't go to my office and work again. And granted, that's a leisure I have because we do this full time and I get to work in the day. But we had to figure out what worked for us. So I don't get alone time at night because that is our time. And I realized if I'm going to make my business work and I'm going to be successful, I have got to do what I know my soul needs. I need time by myself before everybody wakes up. Well, how am I going to do that? I have to get up before everybody gets up, which means I have to go to bed at an actually decent time, right? It's a pattern that needed to be broken to take me to the next place. You know that feeling when you feel stuck and you feel like you're like at your wit's end, like I can't do anything else, or I can't do anything different, or I can't do anything better. Like this is all I got, but it doesn't feel right. You're frustrated and you know that it's not all of you. You know that it's not the best version of you, but you can't figure out how to make the leap. It's not actually a leap. It's a very small shift. It might be as easy as going to bed on time. It might be as easy as waking up earlier. It might be something totally different for you. It could be a mindset. It could be something you've told yourself over and over again, a pattern of behavior that is negative or not helpful, right? If it's not helpful, if it's not benefiting anyone or anything, then it's a pattern of self-destruction that has to be shifted. And it's not a huge shift. It's not a leap. It's not a pivot. It's a very small shift that can change a lot of things in your life. I realize I'm talking about going to bed at a decent hour and waking up on time. This seems ridiculous and like someone should say, duh, Allison, right? But that's just where I'm at. And whatever that shift needs to be for you, I think that you know that what it is, but you have to make the mental commitment to say, I'm going to slowly take the steps to redirect by making this very, very, very small shift, a very small shift in whatever direction that is. How do I get from where I am to the very next best version of myself? So whatever that looks like for you. Actually, I cannot really think of an example right now of what your pattern might be that needs to be broken. If you want to shoot me one, I would love it. So many of you are saying my sleep is not good either, but I know physically, I know mentally that if I go to bed on time and I wake up on time, everything is different. Everything is different for me. So what is that pattern for you that you need to rewrite, that you need to break, that you need to make new? Because we can renew things in our lives and change patterns. It's just a very small shift that we have to make, not a huge commitment, but a one day at a time. And it's not a one day at a time and I miss one day and I say, oh, friggin' screw it. I suck. I can't do it. No, it's grace. And okay, I screwed up one day and then I get back on track. And then I try again and we make progress, and we're not working towards perfection. We're working towards progress in a very small shift in the pattern of our behavior to help us make progress. So what is it for you? Actually, I think you saying what this pattern is that you need to change would be very beneficial for, first of all, for you to say it out loud or to type it, but also for you to have it seen by somebody else, right? What is the pattern that I need to change to help shift my business to the next level? Okay. I want to see what you have to say. I missed some of your, oh, sorry, YouTube. I covered you up with my finger while I was trying to read Facebook. A lot of you have said sleep. But you know what? It's mostly in our control. If you have small babies and you have kids that don't sleep, that's a thing. But sleep is in our control. For the most part, you can control when you go to sleep and when you wake up. within reason, right? I understand some of you have small children and then you can't control any part of your life. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other until they get to be like 4, and then life is great. And then they turn 12. Okay, you're saying sleep. Caught up in busy work that doesn't amount to anything. Rhonda, you can change that too. It's a very small shift. I'm going to give you a tactic that I learned from Mel Robbins in a minute to help us make this shift, right? Yes. And Pam says exactly what's gradually happened to me over the last year. Isn't that how it happens? It's a very gradual process. We slowly slip into a place where we're suddenly doing something that is not healthy to us. It's a pattern that becomes unbeneficial to our lives, and we want to change that. So how do we change that pattern? I need to ask more people to host parties. Follow-up scares me. Yep. Here's the thing. What I don't want for you is I don't want you or me living in a place of survival. And that's a few days ago, I have like a breakdown, sort of, where basically I just said, I feel like I'm surviving. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I keep covering you up. Like, I don't want to be surviving. I want to be in a place where I'm thriving. Do you thrive on accident? No. You thrive with intention, and you thrive by saying and proclaiming how you want to live. We survive on accident a lot. And I don't want to live that space. I want to live in a place where I'm thriving. So some of you are saying things like follow-up scares me. I need to ask more people to book parties. Sleep and consistency. Fear. Fear is huge. Fear is so huge. So I want to tell you something that I've learned, that I've been learning. So I'm doing a few things this year. A couple things I'm actually doing right. I am reading the Bible in a year, which I've never done. And I'm a little bit behind, but I'm not, but it'll happen. So I'm doing that, which is really helping. I don't know. It's a renewal of my mind every day, and that's good. But I'm also reading 40 books this year. I said I was going to do it last year. Didn't even get close. It's something my best friend challenged me to a while ago. And I thought, you know what? If I want to, I can. And I think that commitment to myself and all the things that I've been learning has greatly helped me see some things in a different way. And I think that renewing of your mind, however you do that, is so, so vital. So something I've learned recently, and I learned this from Mel Robbins, is that when we talk about making a shift and we identify this pattern of negative behavior or negative thought or whatever it is, we've identified this pattern that we're doing constantly. It could be drinking too much. It could be staying up too late. It could be busy work. It could be too much time on social media. What is the negative pattern that's not benefiting your life? It could be gossip. It could be unforgiveness. What are you a slave to, essentially, right? So we identify that pattern, and then what we do is we say, okay, that thing, staying up too late, not getting up early enough, that is the old me. So that was, and you could name that person, right? That's the old chapter. Unintentional Allison stays up until whenever and wakes up whenever. No intention, whatever, right? Binging Netflix shows, just everybody raise your hand. It's fine. Just raise your hand. We're not going to talk about what shows we're watching because that would just feed the negative pattern. Oh, I should add them to my list. No, you shouldn't. Because that's that mediocrity thing. Here's the thing. I do think I really like TV. I do. And I like watching TV. But you can do it in a way that's healthy, right? So you make a shift in the pattern and you make a shift in the behavior and you slowly, and you name it. So unintentional Allison didn't care when she went to sleep, didn't care when she woke up, which meant she didn't care how she treated her kids. She didn't care about what she was actually accomplishing in her business, and she didn't care about how she was treating her husband. Because if she cared, she would intentionally know she needed enough sleep and she needed some time alone in the morning to be her best self. So that old pattern was unintentional Allison. And she's kind of a witch. She just is. This is a family show, so I won't say the real word, even though I want to, because that's how I was acting. She's just kind of a witch. So that's unintentional Allison. I'm naming that old chapter of whatever, and I'm making a shift. So the new shift has rules, and the new shift has boundaries, because both of those things are healthy, and both of those things benefit me in making me a better version of myself. So rules and boundaries, and then I name the new chapter. What should we name it? What would I name the new chapter of me getting enough sleep and me being a nice person? It could just be intentional Allison. So when I name something and I name that negative pattern behavior, when I start to slip into it, I rewrite the pattern. I rewrite the pattern. You rewrite the pattern. You have the ability to do that. So we name it. We name the negative pattern. We talk about what the old you did and what the new you is going to do. So in a little bit, when we get off of here, I'm going to go dust my kitchen so that it's maybe functionable tomorrow. And then I'm probably going to want to watch a show. And then I'm probably going to want to watch one more. And old unintentional Allison would have watched one more. But new intentional Allison says, no. New intentional Allison goes to bed when she said she was going to go to bed so she can get up when she said she was going to get up so she can have a hot minute to herself. Praise the Lord. And so she can do what she needs to do to be the best version of herself. I'm rewriting the pattern in my brain. And you know what? When you lie to yourself enough, you start to believe it. So stop telling yourself stupid, dumb lies and start telling yourself good, strong fibs that are going to become truth, because that's kind of what we're doing. We're saying to ourselves, yes, but you know what? Everything in me wants to be old, unintentional Allison and watch one more episode of Big Brother, but that is not who I am. I am new, intentional Allison. I'm better this way, and so I'm not going to. It's sort of a fib because I sort of want the other thing. But the same is going to be true for you and it doesn't matter what the pattern is that's holding you back. You have to keep stepping into it. You have to keep renaming it. You have to say it out loud if you have to. And we talk about all the time. You tell the enemy where to go. Tell your old patterns where to go. You absolutely have the power to make a shift in your behavior that can create momentum in your business to create positive change. You know what I'm trying to say here. Okay. So okay, I'm kind of looking at what y'all are saying. Hey, who was talking about anxiety? Clarissa. So I dealt with a lot of anxiety after my second son was born. Kind of because we had some traumatic things happen, and I didn't even realize until later what I was kind of dealing with. But I've never dealt with it outside of like a post-pregnancy thing, and I know that it's a very real thing, and I think there's nothing wrong with medication. I think it's definitely necessary and a gift if it's needed. But also, if you have never read the 5-second rule or listened to it, it's a Mel Robbins book. She talks a lot about how she used this tool that she created called the 5-second rule to essentially break down her own anxiety. She uses it with her kids, and it's a really pretty cool. I'm not going to say it's a fix or it'll necessarily work for you, but it might be something worth looking into if anxiety is something that you struggle with a lot. And this is kind of something that she talks about, how we name the old behavior. You know, old Shonda used to be afraid of flying on planes. New Shonda is not afraid of flying on planes. You sort of like rename and rewrite this pattern of what you believed about yourself and create something new, right? So that's really what this is about, is creating a very small shift in your behavior or your mind, because they're twofold. Some of you are dealing with things, lies that you're believing about your business or about who you are. And some of it's mindset for some of you. Some of it is physical behavior that you need to change. And it just takes a small shift. It doesn't have to be a giant pivot. It sometimes just needs to be a small shift towards progress. We name the pattern, we rewrite our new chapter, and we say, no, that was old me, this is new me. Are you going to slip up? Yes. Slipping up doesn't mean quitting. Slipping up means acknowledging, okay, this is hard. I'm not going to get it right every day. I'm going to screw up sometimes. But that was the old me. This is the new me. I'm not perfect, but I'm making progress. And that's what we're working towards, right? Thank you for those of you, Mom and Lillian, who are writing the book recommendation down. So good. Another thing I want to just mention to you that I heard and learned, and I just think it's life-changing, and I think it works in your business, and I think it works in your relationships and your family with your customers. So some of you talk about, I've heard some, I saw some of you say that follow-up is something that is a struggle for you. So first of all, my biggest recommendation for you is the Maven app, Maven. It has a free trial period. Actually, there's a free version of it, right? I don't even know because I pay for it because it's amazing. It is worth every doggone penny it costs. But it really, really helps with you knowing when to follow up and who to follow up with. But also, and this is the point that I want to make, I think one of the things that scares us about follow-up is that, for one, maybe we think that people haven't gotten back to us because they just don't need any Scentsy, right? It's really not your customer's job for them to come to you and say, I really need 6 more bars. Because what happens, and this happens to me all the time, and I've told you this example many times. I have a dear friend who lives down the street from me who I get all my face stuff from. She's in direct sales. And when I think about when I need it at night, like when I'm going to bed too late, right? And I'm not texting her to say, hey, golly, I need moisturizer. Like, I really need moisturizer. When do I think about it again the next day? Again, when I'm going to bed. And I keep putting it off and putting it off. Thank goodness she's really great at follow-up. I never assume that she's trying to sell me something. I assume that she is trying to provide me good customer service because that's what she's doing. She actually cares about me and cares about my routine and cares about my freaking face. Praise to God that somebody does, right? And she's following up because that's what people with good customer service skills do. Because as much as we might think it is not on our customers' top priority list to send us a text, to book their party, or to get another 6-pack of bars. You know what happens is life happens, and it gets on the end of their to-do list over and over. Golly, I keep meaning to text her. Gosh, I really need more bars. It happened to me at church the other day. I ran into somebody and hadn't seen her in a while, and she's like, oh, I just put my very last cube of Blue Grotto in, and I really need some. I've been meaning to text you. Well, I hadn't followed up with her in a while. That's on me. Because if I had followed up with her in a while, she wouldn't be on her last cube, which means she wouldn't be out right now, which means she would still have bars. That's providing good customer service. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is, one, understanding that most people are going to assume that you have good intent. Your intent is not to sell them. Your intent is to provide customer service. So you can't let follow-up be the thing that tricks up your behavior pattern because you're scared of what someone's going to think. It's got to be the complete opposite of that. That's actually really your responsibility as a consultant. They can't walk into a store and buy Scentsy. They can't. If they want Blue Grotto, if they want Amazon Rain, if they want whatever we've got, they've got to come through you. And that is effort on their part. It means getting added to a to-do list, right? And when it's not a main priority, it doesn't happen sometimes. So when you can reach out on a regular basis and say, just checking in on you, let me know if you need anything, whatever you're saying, then that is providing great customer service. It shouldn't be something that scares you. You can change that behavior pattern. So I said something that I want to hit on really fast. I said, assume good intent. This is something I learned recently, and I think this is relationship changing. When it comes to your team members, when it comes to your customers, when it comes to your spouse and your children, how quick are we to when they do something wrong or when they don't do what we ask them to do? How quick are we to assume that they're just jerks, that they're just like losers, like that they're just no, but you know what I'm saying? Like, how quick are we to like, golly, they did that because they hate me, or they did that because they don't want to do this business, or they did that because, whatever. We have a tendency as human beings to assume the worst on people instead of assuming good intent always. What if when your husband didn't do what he asked, what you asked him to do, or he forgot to do something, instead of just assuming he's a jerk or he did it to spite you or he did it because he didn't care? What if you assumed like, oh, he must have been really busy and he just forgot? What if you assumed the best out of people? The same is true for your team members. Sometimes we're quick to assume like they don't do what we ask them to do, or if they don't follow up or whatever, they're not actually doing what they say they're going to do. Sometimes we assume the worst. But what if we actually assumed good intent on them and all the people in our lives instead of being so quick to judge? I think that in itself can be huge when we choose to lean towards the positive. Does that make sense? Okay. Anyways, I hope so. It's really good. So here's how I want to close. I hope this has made sense because this is like 5 things written on a piece of paper that were just in my brain. What I want you to understand is that for you to actually make change in your business, you have to make a shift. And a shift is small. It is not big. But I think it starts by identifying the negative pattern that you have created in your life, in your business, that's keeping you from the best version of yourself. What is keeping you from being the very best business owner that you could be? What's keeping you from being the best spouse? Oh, no. I almost lost you. I'm back. I almost lost him on Facebook. Not here. What's keeping you from being a great leader? What's keeping you from being a great consultant? What is the pattern that you have got to break? Remember, we can rewrite a pattern. We have the ability to do that with our words, with our mind, with what we choose to believe is true. So we take that negative pattern, even if it's as simple as going to bed on time and getting up on time. I don't know what it is for you, but whatever it is, you take that pattern and you rewrite it in your brain. The old me, the unintentional me, this is what she did. The new me, this is what she does, right? And we name it. We name that, whatever it looks like. Lazy Sharon, this is what she used to do. But what's the opposite of lazy? Productive Sharon, this is what she does. And that's who I am now. Will you get it right every time? No. Will you get it? Will you, as soon as you make the shift and you decide it's going to be true, you can do it every freaking day? No. You're going to slip up. But we are working on progress, not perfection. And progress comes from small shifts in our business. It comes from small shifts in our thinking patterns, comes from small shifts in the words that we say to ourselves and to other people. And progress is what makes momentum long-term. And that's what you want, right? So that's really all I have to say. My challenge to you is that you figure out where the gap is. You figure out today, what is the thing keeping me from the best version of myself? What is that pattern, that negative pattern of acting or belief that I am repeating over and over again? What is it? Identify it, name it, and change it. Because you can. You can change your behavior. You can change the way you think. You can change the things you choose to believe. But it will not happen on accident. Thriving does not happen on accident. Thriving happens with intention and purpose. That is what we're working towards. But like I said before, the very last thing that I want for you is to watch every week and for you not to make any changes, for you not to actually act. Why waste your time? Why waste my time? Don't. If you're not going to actually act, stop watching. It's a waste of time. It's just as bad as you binge watching Netflix if you're not doing anything with the information. Is it not? You might be addicted to training. I'm not saying you, probably not you, but do you see what I'm saying? Are you just storing up knowledge and not actually moving? That could be a pattern that needs to be changed in your life, for your business, for whatever it is. So it might be hard for you to see what pattern needs to change. But if you want something different, if you want to see change in momentum, you have to make a small shift. Figure out what it is, name it, and then change it. Change it. That's all you have to do. It's as simple as that. Okay. That's pretty much all I have for you. And I was almost like right on time. Remember when I said I was going to do this in 30 minutes? I sort of did for a while. I probably could have done that in 30 minutes if I had better notes. But it's okay. It's okay. Oh, so I hope, actually, I would love to know, did any of you get like a, okay, yes, I know exactly what my pattern needs, I know what pattern needs to change. If you kind of got that feeling tonight, if you'd give me a hand raise or I don't know what you can do. Oh, you can do a hand. Well, yeah, shoot me an emoji on YouTube. I would love to know if that actually, like you got a moment, you're like, yep, I know exactly what pattern is negative and what I need to change. My husband did a muscle man arm and I don't know what that means. So good. Okay, good. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. It's time to make a shift, friends. Just a shift. We don't have to turn hard. We don't have to do anything dramatic. A small shift in behavior can make a huge, huge, huge difference. So I'm excited to see you soon, some of you. And I'm excited to hear about the shifts and the changes that you're making in your business to actually create change, to actually get you to a place where you're thriving, not surviving. Because when we're just surviving, we can't dream. And when we can't dream, we're not living into our best potential. So I want to see you thrive. One more time for those of you who weren't with us this morning, does it feel like it was this morning when I started? Okay, yes. For those of you who weren't with us when we started, we are doing a fun online Steps to Success meet and greet at Cincy Family Reunion, 1 o'clock, 1 to 1:45. Come and go. You can't all come at the same time because we won't fit, I don't think. So 1 to 1:45 in room 212A at the convention center. I will post it, but that is happening at 1 o'clock on Wednesday at Cincy Family Reunion. So we're super excited to meet y'all, and we're excited for you to meet each other. So sounds like a plan.
Yep.
We have to go dust the kitchen now.
Y'all, it's a mess.
Renovation is awful.
You wouldn't think closed drawers and closed cabinets.
Like the silverware.
Everything.
No.
I opened our pantry, our inside pantry that has doors that
I
shut.
don't want to.
And some things are so dusty, you can't see what they are. Like there's some bags of chips that you can't tell if they're Cheetos or Doritos or Lay's. You just can't tell. That's how much dust.
Let's just eat them all.
What?
Let's just eat it. We won't even look and see what it is.
I know. I'm torn. Okay.
Yeah.
She's just delaying now at this point because she doesn't want to come help.
Pretty much. Y'all have.
Hey, and she said, we're excited to see y'all. Well, we're excited to see some of y'all. She meant we're excited to see everyone that comes. We're not only excited to see some of you. We would be excited to see all of you. We just know not all of you are coming. So,
yeah.
When you said it, I know what you meant, but it sounded like she was like, we're excited to see y'all. Well, some of y'all.
Oh, yeah. I meant the ones of you coming to SFR.
Right.
Oh, that sounded witchy.
Y'all know her better than that. Y'all know that's what she meant.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to see some of y'all. Some of you guys are. No, I'm kidding.
Not true. Okay. Hey, if you live close and you want to come dust.
Yes. Bring a Swiffer, 5-gallon bucket of water, bristled mop, preferably one that has the strings, and any kind of dust buster, anything like that you have available to yourself. That would be great. So we'll see y'all. We'll be up not too late because that's our weakness.
Remember? Old Allison, new one.
Yeah. The old Allison might be dusting really late into the night, though.
No, she's not.
Okay, well, the new one better know how to duck really fast.
Okay, then.
All right, guys. See you guys.
Bye.
See you next week.
Oh.